Hello, world, and welcome to another installment of the United Hour. We've got a lot to talk about today. I am President Chad, and right next to me is the man, Robert Wallace. So, we got a lot to talk about today. What are we talking about? We're talking about Pogba's getting his house being broken into. We're talking about Rashford's frustrations after the game. But we're also going to be talking. We have a new segment called the Manager Watch, where we talk about, you know, updates until Manchester United announces another permanent manager. Until that announcement comes, we are going to be having a Manager's Watch every Thursday. But we want to start off talking about Old Trafford, talking about the Theatre of Dreams, and what is going on or could be going on at Old Trafford this season. So there are a few three options that have been put out there by the Glazers. One option is breaking down the entire stadium and rebuilding it on the same site. Another option is rebuilding one of the stands, I believe is the south stand that they have suggested. And the last option is just doing renovations within the stadium. Um, when you heard this Robert, what were your thoughts?
Um, to me, it was just more of the same. It was just more talk from our owners, from our board, doing the wrong things at the wrong time. Um, I mean, these things should have been done 20 years ago, but now they wanna revamp the club. But I think there is more sinister things behind it. I think it's just another way for them to take money out of the club. It's just another way for them to waste money. It's another way for them to not spend money. Because remember, we are essentially a tourist attraction right now. That's what we are. Right now, it is a tourist attraction. It is a place to go to take pictures and show, look, I am here. And they can't do that, right? When Old Trafford, right, looks very old and very run down and so on and so forth. But there's nothing good behind it, nothing at all. To me, it just thinks of greed and corruption and just a lack of foresight, to
Out,
me.
let me ask you this: out of those options, which one would you want to see?
If I had to, I mean, I would say renovation because to me, we have done renovations on that site for years. It is the original site of Old Trafford. We have, I mean, from the World War, it was bombed. What was left was the tunnel. It is still there. We built around it. We built over it. I mean, so I don't see why we can't just fix what we have. But again, it'll be easier to thief more money, right, to build a whole new one. Because I'm sorry, I don't. You see, if our owners had our as the team and the fans' best interest at heart, I would say yes, good. But I know that they don't, right? I know that they don't. So to me, there's nothing good in it, nothing at all. So, but if
All
it was up
right.
to me, I would say that's do renovations. I mean, you can't tell me we can't add on to what we have. We can
Well,
add in.
we I think we added recently standing room,
Right.
right? Where you could, they kind of revamped a stand and now you could stand up in it. I mean, truth be told, the leg space in Old Trafford is not great for tall
No.
people like you and myself. So most people, when you look in the stands, is be standing up anyway. Good afternoon to Carlton.
Mm.
I mean, for me, I don't know. I think the whole thought of destroying Old Trafford, I think that is just I think that's just for to grab attention. I don't see the
Mm-hmm.
Glazers. Now, mind you, we say the Glazers, but we know it's not them of themselves. The club
No.
already has a lot of debt. I don't see Manchester United borrowing a couple $100 million to rebuild the new stadium. And I, for one, as a Manchester United supporter, don't want to know that we playing our home games in the Etihad,
Right.
right?
No. No.
I mean, maybe Wembley, even though it's in
Mm-hmm.
London, you
Mm-hmm.
know, maybe
Mm-hmm.
Wembley, but not in the
Mm-hmm.
Etihad.
Mm-hmm.
Which obviously, being a Manchester club and it have a stadium available in Manchester,
Right.
they ain't gonna allow, to go London, forget that. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't. That's a nonsense for me.
Mm-hmm.
Doing breaking down and doing over the South Stand. Okay, I mean the idea is, I guess, to increase capacity. We already one of the biggest football stadiums in England. I guess they want to increase capacity and general renovations. The reality is, man, Old Trafford needs to be modernized, right? Same thing at Carrington, same thing, all our training facilities. We just need to be modernized. Money has to be spent. I mean, people always think of modern as being new. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you could do all the work in the off season that is required. We might need more than 2 months. But then again, remember we have a long break for the World Cup as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
certain things could be started in the summer and then completed. But it needs the whole place, especially the exterior. It just
Mm-hmm.
needs to be modernized.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we need to break down much to do that.
No.
I remember, I don't know, for people who watch basketball or people who go to the US, the Staples Center in LA, they did a whole revamp, changed the whole front of the Staples Center,
Mm-hmm.
some years back. A few years back, well, I can't remember exactly how long ago it was. And so it's possible. It's something that can be done, while a facility is still being used. So I I just hope that something happens, because
Mm-hmm.
too many times over the past 5 years we have heard at least three occasions a set of noise about serious work happening at Old Trafford, and then it just boils down.
Yeah.
Nothing
Mm-hmm.
comes of it. So
Nope.
let's hope that that is not the case this time around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want to talk a little bit about I wouldn't say the fallout, but events that happened after our loss on Tuesday. I
All
mean,
right.
I'm in all black today because I'm still mourning. Right, I'm still mourning that lost Atletico.
I'm not,
Paul
I'm not.
Paul
I'm not.
Pogba's house
Mm-hmm.
was broken into. So I just want to read a statement from Paul Pogba. He says last night, talking about Tuesday night, obviously, our family's worst nightmare was realized when our home was broken into and burglarized while our babies were asleep in their bedroom. The burglars went to our home. They were inside for less than 5 minutes, but in that time, they took from us something more valuable than anything we had in our home: our sense of security and safety. So, literally, it was coming down to the end of the game in terms of the time. I guess they have cameras or whatever, a security system, so they were aware of the time. Literally, close to the end of the game, burglars entered Paul Pogba's home. He and his wife was not home. His wife was at the stadium, but they probably had a babysitter over watching the kids, and his kids were home. And I mean, I don't have children, but as a man, the thought of burglars, people you don't know, who may have who have criminal intent in your house
Mm-hmm.
with your family, I'm sure is a scary one. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so Carlton is making a comment on the stadium, and he's saying we needed to lose. We needed. Oh, sorry, he's not making a point in the stadium. He's talking about the last game. We needed to lose to shock us into making wholesale changes. Well, Carlton, we're going to be talking about a revamp. That's one of the topics in the show today. Whether a revamp at Manchester United is really on the cards, because there's a lot of news and talk about a whole revamp. Actually, the truth is they would talk about a revamp even before the loss on Tuesday. But we're going to be
Mm.
jumping into that just now. So, I mean, without a question, Paul Pogba's home being broken into, and it's not a strange thing. We remember Victor Lindelof had a similar
Yeah.
situation. I remember
Mm.
Dele Alli had a situation where he actually ended up fighting with the assailants because he was home, and there have been other footballers playing in the Premier League whose home has been broken into. Um, Even way back, if I'm not mistaken, Angel Di Maria as well was his home
Yeah.
broken into. Yeah, right. He
Yeah, it
was.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Um.
so he claimed. I don't
So
believe him.
it's not the most common thing to say it happens all
Mm.
the time, but
No.
it still happens from time to time. I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
ask you this though: do you think this would factor in at all in Pogba's decision to
No.
leave Manchester United, or do you think that his mind is already set regardless?
Eh, No, I mean, no, because to me, we he may say that this may be a reason, but it's not a reason. I think his mind was made up since last year. I think we groveled and begged and stroked his ego to make him stay. Or he had nowhere else to go. I believe he had nowhere else to go last year. So he stayed. I think that this breaking in has well, it won't change anything. I mean, to me, if he was gonna stay, he was gonna stay. And to me, I think in his mind he is already gone. He has already his mind is made up already, and he's going. Honestly, if he stays, I'll be very surprised. I'll be very, very surprised if he stays. But to me, I mean, I can't. To me, there is no relation between that break-in and his decision to leave. I think with Di Maria, however, the break-in gave him an excuse to leave. You understand? Because he was always a snake. He was always a bitch, and he deserved what he got. I mean, I'm sorry, but he did because he's a nasty man. But that's just me. That's just me. But
Well, for
I think.
anybody who interested in making some extra money,
Mhm,
Paul Pogba is offering a cash reward. If there's any information, if you have any information,
mhm.
you can email him at rewardpogba@gmail.com.
Well, I want back the money that we gave him for his salary. That's what I want. I want a refund.
Oh Lord! So continuing talking about events that came out of that game, and we want to talk now about the man Marcus Rashford. So Marcus Rashford was walking out of the stadium, and some United supporters. Let me repeat that. It's
Hmm.
important that you understand this. He was walking out of the stadium, and
Hmm.
United supporters
Okay.
were heckling him. We were
Okay.
not in Spain. This was a home game.
Fine.
This wasn't away fans.
Okay.
This wasn't Atleti fans. This was Manchester United supporters, and they were heckling him. A video came out, showed him using some harsh words, and supposedly some people there were a number of people with their phones up recording. In one of the recording, it looked like Rashford gave somebody the finger. Rashford is saying that he didn't give anybody the finger. He was doing this movement, right? But obviously, depending on how hazy the video is, it may have looked like that. Let me read Rashford's statements, right? Rashford, Rashford has said a video can point 1,000 words, and in this case, lead to inaccurate information being shared on social media. Guys, for weeks I've been heckled, threatened, questioned, and last night my emotion got the better of me. I am a human being. Reading and hearing that stuff about yourself every day, it wears you down. No one is more critical of my performance than me, but what you see in this video lacks context. I had been heckled from the minute I stepped foot outside ground. Abuse not just aimed at my football. So we don't know what people were saying about Rashford, right? When he says abuse, not just aimed at his football, we pretty sure that it wasn't just saying, "Hey, you're shit." Obviously it was
What they
something
were
else.
saying.
I
Oh,
don't
so
know. He
no,
doesn't say, and
no,
the
it's
video didn't say,
racism. Oh, boo hoo, because I'm black, right? Man, he's an
right?
ass. No, no, I'm
So
sorry. You cannot
so he goes
bring
on
race. No.
and he said people had their phones raised and they were looking for a reaction. Of course, I should have walked straight past and ignored it. That's what we're supposed to do, right? Asking a question. I want to clarify two things. The first being that I actually said to the man throwing abuse at me was, "Come over here and say that to my face." So that's all he said. He didn't
He
cuss out
should
the
have.
man. He
He should
just
have.
said, "Come over here and say it to
Okay,
my
I
face."
have a question.
And the fact that I used my forefinger to direct the fan to come over and say to my face, I did not gesture with my middle finger. I'm not entitled. That isn't, this isn't ego. I'm upset. I'm disappointed. And in that moment, it was silly, but I was being human. Go
Um,
ahead. What's your question?
okay. Diego Simeone, right? Diego Simeone, for all concerns, right, is a demon, right? For all concerned, Diego Simeone in in the next life could have been a drug cartel boss man, right? If you look at him, right, he has a look of a man who's accustomed murdering people, right? Diego Simeone, right? He looks like that. He has an aura of I'm a bad man. This man was pelted with beer, with water, with spit. This man was pelted with all kind of things, leaving the ground. Did this man react? No, he walked
Well,
straight up the tunnel.
when
But
you're
yet,
one man against
poor, poor,
thousands,
oh, little black boy, Marcus Rashford. No, you are a bitch. Stop crying because it is your fault. If you maybe were studying to play football instead of being in an ad for Google and asking Google questions. Hey Google, where is this? We should ask Google, where is Marcus Rashford? Where is he? Do you know where he is? I don't know where he is. Do you know where he is? Do you know? Do you know? He's been a
you
bitch.
know,
I don't
concerning
care. I don't feel sorry for him. Boo hoo hoo. I don't care. You know why I don't care about any of them? They have all let us down too many times. I am tired of the crying. I'm tired of the excuses. I'm tired of we will go again. I don't care. I wish the man had gone up to Marcus and in his face. I wish that. No, because I'm sorry. I cannot feel sorry for none of these guys no more. None. I feel sorry for none of them. I feel sorry for none of them.
as
None.
on the note of
None.
what UEFA has said that they're gonna look at the
For what?
situation and decide if they're gonna charge us, because it is not cool for you to be attacked coming out of the stadium.
Yeah, but maybe, right? If you didn't play shit, you wouldn't get
No,
attacked.
no, no.
But you
I'm not.
did.
I'm not. I'm
For
not
weeks
talking about.
now.
I'm talking about Simeone.
But
To me,
I'm sorry. Diego Simeone is Lord Voldemort. He is. He is the master of the dark arts. He is the evil of evils. But yeah,
well,
this
for
man,
people who
this
remember Diego Simeone as a player,
right.
this team, Atletico
But he
Madrid,
said
embodies
that's what I'm
Diego
saying.
Simeone. That
But
is his.
this
If you could
guy,
project Diego Simeone onto 11 players on a
that's
pitch,
them.
that is
Right.
Atletico
No,
Madrid. But
but
then
what I'm
again, the man
saying,
has been coaching Atletico for over 10 years, right?
right, but
10
he
seasons. So
left. He left there and he didn't react. He could have. He could have. To be
react,
fair.
Robert. As I
But he
agree with
did.
Raul that you are trying comparing oranges and apples.
No, I'm
If
not. It's the
if
same.
if thousands of people, well, all
Uh-huh.
right, maybe not thousands, like
Right.
10, 15 people
Right.
pelting stuff at you, you're
Right.
gonna
You
stand up there and do what? Tell them come over here. and get more stuff
No,
pelted at you?
remember,
I don't
remember,
think so. The
remember.
man did what any of us would do, and he ran.
Yes, but remember, I did preface my argument by saying at first, if you look at him, his whole aura projects an aura of being a bad man, right? But he's not, right? Marcus Rashford was heckled by one guy,
Well,
by
he
one
said
guy,
we're not sure about that. He did say that he directed his statements
right? But
to that one
look,
particular person,
I'm
right?
sorry. Look, I would feel sorry for them. I would
I wanna,
if
I
these
wanna, I wanna
men
take
weren't
some. I want to
trying.
dive into something very serious where Rashford is concerned, though.
Mm,
And Rashford is talking about continuously being abused. Now, for people who don't know, Marcus Rashford is said to be the second most abused athlete in the world, not in the
okay.
Premier League,
Anyway, yes.
in the
Fine.
world, in
Mm,
terms of social media attacks and whatever negativity
right.
being spewed about him. There is a lot of people all over the world,
Mm-hmm.
probably primarily in England, talking a lot of shit about Marcus Rashford. I look at this incident, and there are two things that jump out at me. One, the mood and the view of United supporters towards Marcus Rashford has drastically changed. Marcus Rashford was the do no wrong golden boy of Manchester from the day he made his debut under Van Gaal.
Yeah.
Even last season, when he wasn't playing great and struggling for form, very
Mm.
few people would say anything bad. I'm talking about United supporters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very few people would say anything bad about Marcus Rashford. Clearly, that has changed. Clearly, the perception was you took time off, you got your injury, you're supposed to be 100% fit, we know what you're capable of, and you're pooping on yourself right through. So clearly, there's a different attitude towards Manchester United from, because regardless of the loss,
Mm-hmm.
let's be real, 2 seasons ago, I can't see any United supporter, especially in a group of other United supporters, heckling Marcus Rashford.
No.
That was
No.
not going to.
No.
Okay?
But you see, it is the
Just
manner.
now, I
Mm-hmm.
want the thing I want to ask you is this:
Mm-hmm.
is this a sneak peek? You know, we've been asking ourselves, what is wrong with Marcus Rashford? Does he still have a lingering injury that we don't know about? Is it just something psychological? What is
Mm-hmm.
going on? Is this? Do you think that this is a sneak peek into the psychology of Marcus Rashford, especially when you look at that statement, him talking about being human, him talking about statements? Forget this incident.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, Marcus Rashford reads and
Right.
looks at what is being said to him. Now, I'll be honest with you. Most footballers do.
Right.
When
Yeah.
reporters ask them about stories, they quick to ball. I didn't read that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them lie, right?
Right. Because
And
they do. Yeah.
this is sportsmen on the whole.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, when there are stuff written about you, when there's stuff being spoken about you, when there's stuff being tweeted about you, most of these guys go and read it. Most of them check it out. That happens.
Yeah.
Putting that aside,
Mm-hmm.
well, I shouldn't say putting that aside. Clearly, based on his statements, he pays attention.
Yeah.
And what has been said in the public about him is not good. I don't know what his PR team thought the reaction of supporters was going to be when this leak, when it came out, not leak, when it came out that he might be interested in leaving, right? Looking at his options. I don't know what he thought. Probably he thought that would have coalesced the supporters around him. But I don't think he realized, when sometimes people don't read the room,
No.
I don't think he let that out to get more negative press. I don't
No.
think he did that. I think he probably told himself, well, okay, the supporters would be like, oh my God, we don't want to lose Rashford or Rashi,
Mm.
things like that, because there was so much negativity going out there, kind of like, you want to
Yeah.
change the narrative,
Right.
and that
But.
just made it worse.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't
Mm-hmm.
help. People was negative to you before and
And the
after
fact,
Fabrizio
right?
Romano came out and said
That
it,
that is that
it
that
just got worse.
when Fabrizio said it, that is when people became all right. You see, you on shit, and
So,
the
do you
people
think that
who were for
this
him.
is the actual situation? Do you think that the problem now are we prepared to say that the problem with Marcus Rashford is purely mental? That Marcus
Um,
Rashford issue is psychological. There's not, that he just,
no, I
not that he don't try, but
mm,
his mind obviously is not where it's supposed to be.
there. I think a lot of things. I think like at the start of his career, he was young, he was hungry, he came out here and he was trying to impress. I think him because I think we put so much pressure on him to perform, and he did it at such a young age that I think I again this is my opinion, but I feel somewhere between a couple years ago to now, between him doing what he was doing behind the scenes to him being um being knighted and all of these things that he was doing, I think somewhere he lost the plot. He lost the plot of what he's here to do. It is wonderful and beautiful that you can be here, feed the children, change government policies. Wonderful. Your job
Go
is
ahead,
to
finish.
play
Mhm.
football, right?
So you
Football.
are saying that somewhere his focus has shifted.
No, not his focus. But I think he believed that he could have coast on his laurels. He could have coast on his
You know what?
name. Because remember, his
This is
name
the point.
became bigger
This is
than
exactly the point that I believe
right.
that you're meaning. When I say
Mm,
his focus, I mean, okay, before getting into all the social work, before the brand, before Marcus
yes.
Rashford was a brand, Marcus
Hmm.
Rashford was a footballer.
Yes.
And you are saying that he has no he's paying too much attention to his brand. Some
No.
people may
Yes.
think
Yeah.
that you're being critical of him feeding kids. That is not what you're saying.
No. 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 No.
What
No.
you're
No.
saying is that the brand of Marcus Rashford,
It's
right,
now
is
surpassing
now more
his.
important to him. The
Mhm.
image of Marcus Rashford,
Right.
the off the field stuff is more important than his
And
football,
right.
and that is what is causing the
And
problem.
this track member, and then um, he had a video that I saw a few days ago, and the guy compared Marcus Rashford to Jermaine Defoe, right? And at first, when I heard it, I was like, that can be right. But when you think about it, Jermaine Defoe did a lot of work behind the scenes, did very things similar. Hey, one love, man, one love. He did a lot of things similar to Marcus. You know, he may not have publicized what he did. Like what he did may not have garnered as much news notoriety, but people who know Jermaine Defoe would know that this man gave a lot to his community. But people don't view Jermaine Defoe in the same light as they do
He's
Marcus
not a
Rashford.
philanthropist first, he's a footballer.
Right. Whereas Marcus Rashford, his name has passed his football. And to me, his football hasn't progressed. I think he is not as good as he thinks he is and as we think he is. Or what we think that we hope he could be. Because, okay, even, I mean, for us who play FIFA, you, he is, I believe he's like an 86 or like or whatever. But the fact that he reaches so high in FIFA, right, is not a reality of what he is in real life. It's not. And what I'm saying is that people they're not seeing Marcus for who he is. And even Marcus himself, I think, believes more of his own hype and he's not pushing forward. Because okay, we can go to Ronaldo. Ronaldo has given millions upon millions of dollars to all kinds of charities and things. But yet his football is what he's known for, right? His football
I
has
I
gone up.
I
Whereas to
appreciate
me, Rashford hasn't. To me, he hasn't moved on, right?
I
You know, he
appreciate your
hasn't.
point, and I actually, now that you're putting it into perspective,
Mm-hmm.
I actually can see a correlation between Rashford's brand becoming better and Rashford's football
Mm-hmm.
taking a dive.
Yeah.
And again, to clarify for people, you are not saying
No, no,
that
no.
we
I am
should
not saying.
not, that Rashford should not focus on his off the field stuff.
Of course, he should.
All you are saying is all of that is good. There's nothing
Mm-hmm.
wrong with that, but he should
No.
keep focused on his football. And
Yes.
Cristiano, I think, is the ideal thing. And
Mm-hmm.
Cristiano has hotels.
Yeah.
Cristiano does a lot of social work, as you say. He gives a
Mm-hmm.
lot to charity. He has
Mm-hmm.
businesses. Cristiano has an empire, CR7 empire, right? He has built a brand, but he takes extra good care of his body. He does extra training. He has his own nutrition. For Cristiano Ronaldo is focused on his football,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yes, he's
Mm-hmm.
focused on his image and his brand, but he is
Mm-hmm.
focused on his football, right? When that game is finished, fans may get upset and heckle, oh, especially when we play in our way. He just run off the field. If he didn't
Mm-hmm.
score the winning goal, and yeah, man running to take ice bath. But I
Mm-hmm.
nothing to celebrate. I ain't had no time to stick around here and clap for the fans that made the trip. I need to go and take my ice bath because we have
Mm-hmm.
our next game. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
people may not appreciate it, but
No.
he's focused on his
So
football. And
sometimes
let's
even
hope
Lionel does get upset. So even Lionel, you know.
let's
But
hope
so
that Marcus Rashford will get back to his best. Good afternoon to Kishon and Martin Phillip.
and
Kishon, we are going to be talking about that overhaul of Manchester United in a little bit.
this
But
and
before we
this does remind me of even with Lingard. You know when Lingard was real into his Instagram and TikTok and the beans and that kind of, and his football just went downhill.
let me tell you something, we may blame some of these players, but the reality of it is that Manchester United as a football club
Hmm.
has become more interested in
Yes,
social mediaing,
than
in
football.
marketing,
Hmm.
in than football. And
Yes.
these players, if it is you are in an organization and your hope is to win trophies, your hope is to
Hmm.
compete on the biggest stage, Champions League, your hope is to
Hmm.
reach finals, and you are hardly doing that, then you have to find something else to channel your energy into. And I agree that footballers should focus on football first. One, because that is what gives you your main popularity. That is what gives you the money to do the things you're
Hmm.
going to do because that's
Yeah.
your day job, right? You're
Hmm.
not going to have the money to feed kids. You're not going to have the money to do charity. You're not going to have the money to be involved in social causes if it wasn't for your football. But if
Hmm.
the club is focused on branding, then we shouldn't be upset or surprised
No, I'm
when the
not.
players
Themselves, yeah.
have gotten into that, right?
Yeah.
And clearly, Manchester United as an organization has lost its way,
Hmm. But
and we need not just an overhaul of the dressing room, but we need in
mhm.
terms of players, but we need an overhaul,
But
a shift in the
do
culture
you
of the
think
organization.
there's also a competition between the players? Because to me, is it seems as though like each player is trying so hard to up their Instagram followers and their Instagram,
Of
and their
course,
brand.
because it's about the brand.
Hmm.
Let me tell you something. One of the things Manchester United has going for it is its popularity. One of the allures of coming to Manchester United is the fact that you can become a household name. When you look at pundits, most TV pundits come from which two clubs in England?
Liverpool and Manchester.
Liverpool and Manchester United. Not just
Hmm.
most TV pundits, but most pundits that are considered worth anything, worth the salt,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? The people that always is Neville, is Carragher, is uh this guy Owen,
Hmm.
is this guy who used to play right back. Owen Hargreaves.
Yeah. Hmm.
Most of the people right? You might see Mackay Richardson on sometimes. He's from City, and a couple other people who play with West
And
Ham, who play with this.
isn't Graham
The real,
isn't
the
isn't
real
Graham Souness also from Liverpool
Graham
as well?
Souness, Liverpool,
Yeah.
right?
Mm,
Ferdinand, the real
yeah.
popular commentators on different stuff, whether it's been in sports, whether it's Sky Sports, it don't really matter. The most popular commentators are from Manchester United and Liverpool, right?
Mm,
And that is because of the brand of those two clubs. That is because of the history, not necessarily what they're doing now, but what they
mm,
did
yeah.
and the brand. So when you come to Manchester United, if you are so inclined, it is the perfect place for you to build a brand. It is,
Mm,
but it should not be at the expense of your football. But I want to
yeah.
talk a little bit. I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about the England national team because we have a situation where Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford has been left out of the next round of friendlies for 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 England. But you know who wasn't left out?
Mm.
Harry Maguire.
Yep.
Harry Maguire made the team.
Mm,
Are recovering from COVID because since he got COVID and showed symptoms, he hasn't played. A recovering Luke Shaw
yep.
make the English national team.
Mm,
Now, for people who don't know, the list for the England squad dropped today, right? But certain players would have been informed about
yeah.
whether they are on the list or not on the list earlier in the week. So I wouldn't be surprised if Rashford knew that he wasn't on the list. Let's just go through this midfield and let's start in the defense. Jordan Pickford right now playing a set of balls.
Mm,
Nick Pope, okay. Aaron Ramsdale, he's the darling of England goalkeeping right now.
mm,
Everybody only talking about Ramsdale. Um, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Connor Cody, a guy I'm not gonna try to pronounce his name. Reece James, Harry Maguire, Tyrone Mings, Luke Shaw, John Stones, and Ben White. Okay. In your midfield, you have Jude Bellingham, Connor, Connor, Connor Gallagher.
yep.
Yeah, call up.
Mm,
Not Jaden Sancho. Connor
no.
Gallagher.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Jordan Henderson, Mason
Mm,
Mount, Declan Rice, James Ward-Prowse.
mm,
James Ward-Prowse.
yep.
Okay. All right, all right. Tammy Abraham, Phil Foden,
Mm, mm.
Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, Saka, Emil Smith Rowe, and Raheem Sterling.
Raheem Sterling, who don't play.
Now, when you look at our list, Ravi, I mean, I can understand Rashford, right?
Yes.
Rashford on Tuesday didn't even look like he knew how to play football.
Mm,
You understand? I haven't played football for years, right? And worse yet, since my injury with my leg, I haven't played any football at all. And Rashford literally looked like that. I'm sure I
mm,
could have looked better than Rashford on Tuesday. He was that bad,
mm.
right? And I'm not kicking a man when he done, right? But you know, my thing is, Jadon Sancho has come into his own. He has been responsible. He's been scoring goals. He's been having assists, and he's been looking good.
Yeah.
Why they leave out Jadon Sancho though?
I
And
I
then
don't
when you
know.
look at Harry Maguire's form,
Yeah. Uh,
Harry made the team.
yes, because he's the poster boy. He has to go. He has
He's
to
a poster
go
boy for what?
for
Fridges and
everything.
microwaves.
For everything that has England. He's the poster boy. He had to go. He is the captain of Manchester United. He's the captain of, hey guys, we will go again. You understand? He is that guy. He is that. He's Harry.
You
You
know,
understand?
somebody, I think it was on one of our programs, and I was talking to them and I was saying to them that Harry Maguire's is one of the first names on England team sheet.
Yeah.
Right? So am
Yep.
I surprised Harry's on the list? No. I know for a fact Harry Maguire, after Harry Kane,
Yes.
uh, is one of the top names
Mhm.
on the clean sheet. Right? So
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by his inclusion. I am surprised by the omission of Jadon Sancho. That is what
Yeah,
I do understand.
because to me, there are far better defenders in England than Harry Maguire. There are 500,000 better defenders than Harry Maguire. Luke Shaw has no right to be there. None.
The
I don't
man ain't played
understand.
football in over 3 weeks. Well, in 3 weeks.
Jack Grealish, right? Jack Grealish, I believe, has played 13 games or 14 games. I think he has what, 2 goals or 1 goal and
One
about
goal.
2 assists. Right. 1 goal and 2 assists in
Rubbish
13
stats.
games. Rubbish. Sancho has two, um, three, 2 or 3. I think 2 or 3 goals, um, 4 or 5 assists in how many ever games? And he stays home. You know why? Because City is on top of the league. And when you are on top of the league, you have the pick of of you know of you know you have the pick because we are where we are. We are no longer that team.
So
You
really,
understand?
actually, what it is saying, um,
If
is
if
that
if
the
Sancho is playing for
coach,
City,
the coach of England,
right?
is more interested, excuse me, in picking players from certain big teams than he is in picking the best players.
No, I would say no because I mean he is carrying people like Ward Prowse and Connor Cody. I mean these guys are playing well, But to me, Harry Maguire is just it's just very blatant. It is favoritism. It's very, very blatant. Favoritism. I can understand Harry Kane. Cool. But to me, Sancho should be on that flight. He should have been.
I
He
mean,
should have been.
let me tell you something. I think the World Cup is motivation for anybody who wants to do um big things
Mm-hmm.
in their career.
Mm-hmm.
And both Sancho and Rashford know what it is to be internationals, regular
Mm-hmm.
internationals. And
Mm-hmm.
I hope they take it as motivation. I hope they take it as motivation to handle their stories
I
and be
think, yeah, I think, but I think it was very easy for the coach to say no to Rashford because right now Rashford is not the
no.
golden boy.
Rashford is
It
out.
was it was very right. So it was very easy for him to say no because I bet you, right, if he was in the same form, right, however, he was still being praised by everyone. There was no way he was staying home.
Yeah, well,
None.
the England, I don't think they pick all English players because of merit.
No.
And I agree with you. I just want to
Hmm.
highlight Carlton's statement here. Sancho can't make the team. He is a bit of a standout in a bad United team. Look at the guys who made the team. Sancho is not better than any of them. Well, I do agree with you totally on that, Carlton, but I do agree that he has been a standout player in a bad team.
No, but I mean, I understand because even for the Euros, when you saw Jack Grealish come on, I mean, he did contribute a lot more, right? I mean, he did. I mean, to be fair, he did. But if you're talking about merit right now, it doesn't make sense
Jack
right now.
Grealish is, and I probably shouldn't use this analogy. I was going to say he's that girl who looks really good, and then when you ask her to dance, she can't. Not that she
Right.
said no, but she
Hmm.
just can't dance.
Right.
That girl in the party that you're watching and you're eyeing her right through because Jack Grealish just beats everybody and always a lot of flair, but end product.
Hmm.
Since Jack Grealish moved, actually
Yeah.
since before his move, since
Mm,
his injury, since his shin splints at
yeah.
Aston Villa, he has not been producing the goals. Jack Grealish last few games for Aston Villa, how much goals and assists he had?
Exactly.
Next to
Not
none. Was
much.
did he get the
Hmm.
ball? Did he look flary on it? Did he
Hmm.
always run? Was he always getting fouled? Yeah,
Because yeah. Hmm.
but Jack Grealish right now, until he starts to produce end products, Are you not
because
interested in how good it is look on the
no,
field?
because I'm pretty sure if you find a fan of City, well, one or two, I don't know where they are, right? But even they will say that they
He
didn't
wasn't
need
he
him.
wasn't worth the 100 million they pay for him.
No, he
Correct.
wasn't.
So
No.
guys, I mean we have Kishon already putting up hashtag in One Love United because we're doing the One Love United promotion and we will be doing the draw next week Thursday. So let me just
Mhm.
play this for anybody who does not know what that is about before we head into our next topic. One love. The One Love United promotion. Here is your chance to win a signed Bruno Fernandes shirt. Yes, you heard me, a signed Bruno Fernandes shirt. To enter, just subscribe to the United Hour YouTube channel, like the most recent video on the channel, and comment. One Love United. Remember, each video you like and comment on counts as an entry. You can enter as many times as you wish. The winner will be announced on the 25th of March 2022. One love. You must be subscribed to be eligible to win. One love. Yes, indeed. So if you're interested in getting that Bruno Fernandes shirt, make sure and subscribe to the United Hour, like this video, comment One Love United, and every video between now and the 25th, every one that you like and you comment on is going to be another entry. So, take advantage of that and, let's, get that going. Now, Carlton is saying that nobody in United deserves to make the team, and I totally agree.
Nope.
I would quicker agree with nobody making the team than Harry making the team,
Yeah.
Shaw making the team,
Yeah.
and Sancho not making the team. If Harry and Shaw could make the team, then Sancho should make the team. But
Yeah,
moving
sure.
along, let's get into Managers Watch. Now, what is Managers Watch about? Managers Watch, until we get a new permanent manager at Manchester United, we decided that we should have a Managers Watch where we discuss and instead of just bringing it on as a side topic, every Thursday we're going to talk about what is new and what is updates as far as the manager search goes, right? In terms of what is being reported and what we may know. So first and foremost, the top 3 people for the Manchester United job lost in Champions League this week. Well, lost in Champions League the past 2 weeks. Pochettino, after being in a position of strength, leading the tie 2-0, allowed Real Madrid and Karim Benzema to score 3 goals, and so PSG is out of the Champions League. Pochettino is one of the names on top of the list. Ajax, first game they drew 2-2. Second game they lost 1-0, and that was enough to see Ajax kicked out of the Champions League, coached by Ten Hag. So the second big name on the list, he lost his name in his game in the Champions League. Ralph Ragnick, there's some talk, whether we should consider Ralph, whether not. I think Ralph's stock at Manchester United has been dipping in recent times because of dropping points in key games and losing this game here. But Ralph Ragnick also lost. So, what is your opinion of these managers now, or those results, doesn't bother you?
It doesn't bother me because PSG has been losing ties since, well, before Poch, since Tuchel, since for years now. I mean, this is nothing new. PSG were 4-0 up on Barca and they lost. PSG were how much ever up on Bayern, they lost. PSG had us on toast. We were dead. And only went to Paris and beat PSG. Right? It is not. It is. PSG reached the final, right? Reached the final. Neymar was there dancing as though he won, lost. Right? These guys are accustomed losing. It's not new. So to
So you
me,
know what? You know what? It doesn't affect your opinion of Poch. That's just
no, no,
PSG.
no. That's just PSG. And I personally was never a fan of Poch anyway. So to me, I think Poch, but we see Poch is the nice, is the perfect manager for us. Why? Because he will be happy with whatever the owners give him. He'll be happy to take all of their foolishness. He will take he will take all those egos like Rashford and Pogba and 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 Ronaldo and all these guys, and he will keep them there like Ollie, and he will be there for them. He will hug them all. I'm like, hey guys, it's okay. He will apologize every game that we lose, every game that we draw. He will apologize, and he will protect the board and the owners. So Poch is perfect for them. Perfect. Not for me, but for them. Ten Hag to me, you gotta understand that it's not just Ten Hag. Is the structure of Ajax, right? I remember Ajax whole motto is to breed young players, to bring them up, and then when they reach a certain point, to sell, right? So Ajax cannot keep the best players because look, the year this is years ago, right? When they
When
had
they reach
that
the
team,
final,
right? When they had the team of I believe it was Rijkaard and all these guys were there, and they won. The 1 year that Ajax won Champions League, they were able to keep their entire team. And then the year after, what happened? The team was destroyed. Ajax cannot keep their best players. They can't because their model is to breed young guys to come up.
so
So,
considering what Ten Hag has to work with, the
mhm.
fact that Ten Hag lost doesn't change your opinion of him.
No, but it's not just him. It's the structure of the whole club is not our club. We are not bred to win. We are bred to have likes and subscribers and
So
TikTokers. We are
so
not bred to win titles.
the new name on the list is Thomas Tuchel. How do you
Okay,
feel? And that,
okay,
let me just put it in context. The reason Thomas Tuchel's name is on the list is because
I
of what
know.
is going on at
Right.
Chelsea,
Okay.
right?
Knock to
With
this. Mhm.
Ibrahimovic being sanctioned.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There seems to be there's a lot of uncertainty.
Right.
I suspect Chelsea will have new owners by the end of the season, and who knows, they may
Yeah.
have another direction they want to take the club in. They may have another
Mm-hmm.
coach they're interested in. Nobody knows. So, because of
Mm-hmm.
the uncertainty, Chelsea's players
Right.
and managers suddenly jumping up in everybody's head. So, Thomas
Right.
Tuchel is somebody that a lot of Manchester United fans have been talking about on Twitter and social media. What are your thoughts? Would you want to see Thomas
Wha-
Tuchel as Manchester
Okay.
United manager?
First of all, first of all, we I hate saying this because sometimes some people feel as though I hate my club. I don't. I love my club, but love doesn't necessarily that doesn't mean you look past their faults. You have
Love
to
is
address
blind,
it.
Robbie. Love is
No,
blind.
it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Right? No, it's not. We have to understand. Once upon a time, we were that girl. We were the hot girl in the fete. We were the hot girl who all the boys wanted. Us. Now we are past 40 with 50 kids from 50 different men. We are overweight. We have hair growing out from everywhere, right? We are horrible. We are in a hot mess. Our house is a hot mess, right? We have pictures of when we were hot and sexy, and every day we show people, look at me, look. I was hot once, but now we fat and we are ugly, and we need to understand where we are in life. Why would Tuchel leave Chelsea, a team that is winning, a team that wants to win, to come and lie down with a fat, overweight, hairy woman? Why would he? Why would he? Would you? Would you leave your hot wife to go for the cat one down the road? Would you do it? No. Why do people believe that we are still a prize? We are not a prize anymore. We are not. I think we as fans ourselves need a reset. Like we as fans, like we need to understand where we are. Like we need to see this is where we are. I know we don't want to see it. We don't want to see it, but I think we are where we are, and we need to accept where we are. Tuchel will never leave Chelsea to come to Manchester. No, if Manchester were to pull their head out of their behind and hire Tuchel, right? But not just Tuchel. I mean a true revamp, a real actual revamp. They change out the back staff. They bring in a, a proper director of football. They bring in the scouts. They bring in real change, and they bring in Tuchel. I would say cool. But we all know that that's not the case, and Tuchel is not gonna sit back and allow the board to give him players that he don't want. So
I wanna touch on Mark's comments. Mark says Manchester United would never be great again until they get rid of the Glazers. I don't really want to talk about his comments directly,
mhm,
but I just want to transition into, we've been hearing a lot of talk about a clear out in the summer. Now, for a lot of people have to understand this clear out talk didn't just start because of the loss against Atletico Madrid. The clear out talk started when it is rumored that Ralph Ragnick gave the Glazers a summary and his assessment of what is needed for success heading into next season. And on that assessment, there were like 5 players on the list that, as far as he was concerned, needed to go. And there were some key positions that they needed to buy players in. And since then, we have heard that list has only been growing. It moved from
mhm.
5 to 6. It having talking now about 8 players need to go and that kind of thing. Um, do you think we're going to see any kind of overhaul? Any kind? One, for sure, we know Ralph is going to be replaced. I don't think the club is going to hire Ralph as the permanent manager. I don't think Ralph wants to be the permanent manager at Manchester United anymore, right?
Mm.
Um, but do you think we're going to get a new manager? That's a given. Matic is out. Mate is out.
You,
Pogba is gone.
you sure?
So those are 3 midfielders gone.
Are
So
you
we
sure?
definitely, yes, I'm sure. So we
Okay.
definitely need a new
Midfielder.
midfielder. Then we also have Lingard is also gone. That's 4 midfielders gone.
Okay.
Eric Bailly has indicated he wants to leave because he's not getting
Mhm.
playing time. And
Right.
to be honest with you, the only reason I think Eric Bailly wants to leave so much is because he looks at Harry Maguire in training every week
Mhm.
and thinks I am 100 times better than this fridge.
Yes.
How is it I am
Like
on the bench and
right.
he's starting so much games?
You know
Because
why?
Eric Bailly was not complaining about being a backup when Harry Maguire was doing okay. He wasn't
Right.
complaining before Harry got there.
Mhm.
But looking at Harry, I'm sure Eric thinks to himself, nah, this can't be the world I living in. This
Mhm.
can't be the universe that I living in. And I on the bench behind that guy? No, forget that. I want to roll.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
and then we have Phil Jones, who supposedly the club is looking to move on as well. They're not going to give him a new contract. So we need a defender.
Mhm.
We're going to need at least one, probably two midfielders, just because of the people who are going to be out the door. Right? We ain't talking about people who we genuinely want to sell now. We're talking about people who just out the door. So when I say an overhaul, I say all of that to put it in context. I don't mean Manchester United going to get rid of, I call about what, 6 players there just now?
Mhm.
Yeah, 4 and 2, 6.
Yeah.
We also in the attacking lineup, Cavani is going to be going 7. So I'm not talking about Manchester United getting rid of 7 players. 7 players leaving Manchester United, whether on the free or whether we sell them for cheap or just allow them to go because they pay their dues, like Matic and Mata and Phil Jones. I I'm not talking about that. When I say an overhaul, I'm talking about more than 8 players. I'm talking about seeing as much as 9, 10 players out the door, seeing as much as 4, 5 players in the door. Obviously, we have some serious youth talent, and I think they deserve their chance. So I don't want us to go buying 8 players, but we need to get at least about 5 coming in, including a striker, a proper CDM, another attacking midfielder, or another box to box or whatever midfielder, and we need to get at least a centre back. I don't want us to get a backup centre back. We need somebody that we could get in there that could put Harry Maguire on the bench consistently.
Mhm.
And we may even need a proper right back because obviously we're still deficient. Wan-Bissaka is clearly not up to the style of modern football. When we were a counter-attacking team under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Wan-Bissaka was perfect, right? Because he just needed to stop. He just needed to defend, right? The
Yeah.
counter-attack
Mhm.
was our thing, and he didn't need to be up there, right? The guys running up, doing the counter-attacking, with the three on top, and with Bruno to help and Pogba to pass the ball. Wan-Bissaka was excellent in a Manchester United counter-attacking team. Wan-Bissaka would be excellent in a back three for Atletico, right? Because that's what he does. Tackle you, shut down your key man, fine. In the expansive football that Ralph is bringing, and hopefully the next manager of Manchester United is going to bring, Wan-Bissaka not up to that task. So, with all of that information, with all of that in mind, are you expecting an overhaul? Are you expecting to see more than 8 players out the door and more than 5 or more players in the door? Or are you expecting, you know, yeah, what are your thoughts? What is your expectation in the summer?
Um, if we get top four, we will buy one person, someone who the fans will go, a little gaga over, right? So we may take the money and we may get someone like Declan Rice, right? Because not for the team, but for the fans. If we don't get top four, I could see the ownership really going hard to get back in top four. But that means that they won't buy players who we need to buy. They'll buy players who they think will sell more jerseys, right? Because every year we keep hearing about we'll bring in this one, bring in. Remember, this is not new. Since two since 2009, we have been hearing rumors about our team and players, and most times nothing happens. Remember the days of Aguero and Silva? It didn't happen. Modric didn't happen. Bale didn't happen. We chased Fabregas for a whole summer. Didn't happen. Thiago didn't happen. Like we cannot get players that other teams want. We can't. You know, I I I cannot.
Yeah, Declan Rice and Harry Maguire. which are the two more recent rumors, actually sound good. Simply
Mm,
because City supposedly have Haaland in the bag. So City
right.
definitely is not going for Haaland and Harry Maguire.
I mean,
So
Harry Kane.
and then Harry Kane, sorry,
Yeah,
Harry Kane.
yeah.
And with what's
Now,
going on at Chelsea,
mm,
Chelsea may not necessarily with the plethora of
sanctions. Yeah.
midfielders that
Mm,
they have, they
mm,
may not want to spend $100 million on Declan Rice right
right.
now. They still have Kante, they still have Saul, they still have Kovacic.
Mm,
They have
mm,
a lot. They have Jorginho. They have a
right.
lot of holding midfielders.
Mm,
One,
mm,
bringing a next one, especially on that kind of money, doesn't make sense.
right.
And worse yet, with the situation, whoever the new owners are, I am not sure that the first thing on their mind is,
To
yeah, we
one.
spent $100 million
Yeah.
after we just spent, 2 point something billion to buy the club. I'm not
Exactly.
sure that's necessarily what will be on their mind. So most
No.
likely we will have a straight run at Hurricane if we want him, and we'll have
And
a straight run at
yeah,
Declan
but
Rice. But
again,
obviously we need a lot more than that.
are we buying? But remember, we will buy Hurricane for clothes. We won't buy Hurricane because we need Hurricane enough. We will buy him for
But
the.
of course we need Hurricane.
No, we don't
Of
need
course we need
Hurricane.
Declan Rice.
No, we don't need Hurricane. What we need is a young, hungry striker, not Hurricane. Hurricane will be 29 years old. We
What
had
about
a whole,
Lewandowski? What about Lewandowski? We need Lewandowski.
we had a whole show like a few weeks ago, right, about Ronaldo and Cavani being 34 and 37. Now we're gonna go and buy a Hurricane at 29 years old. Does that make sense to you? No, but do you know why we buy him? Because it will look good. It will look good. You understand?
We'll have another sure pick on England national squad to join Harry Maguire.
Exactamente. So it will look good, right? And we will buy rice, not because we need rice, no.
Mark,
You know,
yeah, lucky guy that is only Robert and I here. If it has
Mm.
certain other people here, they would have been talking about you needing to win that shirt and take a picture. That's some man love your Facebook picture, Mark. But
oh
I know you changed
god.
it recently. You're looking good, looking good.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Carlton is saying I got the feeling that Ralph is not too high on Haaland. He described Haaland as a target man.
Right.
Um, I don't think the reports we hearing is that Manchester City gonna pay Haaland £500,000 a week,
Right, but
right?
I
I don't
Mhm.
think Manchester United should, unless you're getting a prime Ronaldo or Messi, unless you're getting a Lewandowski, from 5 years ago when he was 28, 29, because Lewandowski has been doing what he's been doing for a while since his Dortmund
Mhm.
days. Unless you're getting somebody like that, we don't need to be going and
Okay.
playing out our money. Right now, what premium striker is there out there? Even
Okay,
if we
but
bring Harry Kane
mm,
in, and I don't mind Harry Kane is Premier League proven he's definitely going to give us 20 plus goals for
no,
the
he
next three
won't.
seasons,
No, he
right?
won't.
But
You go 10.
still, I wouldn't want to pay him that kind of money.
But here's
There's
my
no
thing, right?
footballer out there that should be getting that kind of money from Manchester United right
Right,
now.
but here's my thing. We have Ronaldo, right?
Yeah, well,
And
Carlton,
Ronaldo,
without that goes without saying.
right,
Haaland
but
is going to be better than Lukaku. Haaland is going to be money for Manchester City. Haaland is
right,
going
but
to rip it up in the Premier League.
right, but what I'm saying is that we cannot buy a striker if you can't even give our current striker service for
Nah,
years.
Robbie. We don't want to hear nothing about that.
No, but you have to.
No, we could have talked about that earlier in the season.
Hmm.
Manchester United's problem
Hmm.
right now under Ralph is
Hmm.
not a lack of service. Men
Okay.
getting chances are not so
So
good. So we
but
need
our
a more
last game,
clinical striker.
but our last game
Yeah,
was
but we
perfect.
had better chances.
Hmm.
Oblak was lucky that the ball off of Ilanga came off his head. It's not
Right.
that we did not have good, solid
Okay.
chances to score.
So why can't we go out I understand that comment. That comment makes perfect sense. But here's my thing. We will buy Hurricane, right? Let's just say right that we buy Hurricane, right? Hurricane will come and he will take pictures and he will come on the interview and he'll come and say, yeah, oh, and then we will need a translator for him because he can't speak. I can't speak, but he's even worse than me, right? He
All,
can't
all, all I had to say
speak,
about Hurricane is this.
right? You,
I understand you want to leave Spurs,
mm,
but the same reason why it don't make sense for Tuchel to come to leave Chelsea
mm,
if they want him. I mean, if Chelsea getting rid of him, okay, that's different. But
right.
it don't make sense for Tuchel,
Mm,
excuse me, to leave Chelsea with the players that they have,
mm,
finishing wherever they're going to finish, third or fourth in the league, to come to Manchester United. That don't make
mm,
sense. It's the
right.
same way Harry Kane has always said the main reason he wants to leave Spurs is he wants to compete for trophies, he wants to
Right.
compete for the biggest stuff. Unless
Mm,
Manchester United really goes about doing an overhaul,
mm,
why would Harry Kane want to come to Manchester United? How much better are we than Spurs right
not
now?
not
So
that
for me,
much.
I think we just need to.
And
I would
remember,
seriously question Harry Kane's mindset. If it is Manchester United doing business, he look and he realize he has certain players out the door, and we not just talk, we not just link to this one and that one, but we calling his agent, and he already seeing 2 3 players coming through the door. He knows paperwork going on. If you see stuff going on, I could understand getting excited about being part of that project and the brand of Manchester United. But if you see same old
the stay by
that you has been
Spurs.
seeing at Manchester United for the past
Mhm.
8 years,
Yeah.
then I don't want to be part of that project. I'll be like, nah.
No,
I'll ask Spurs to give me a new contract, give me some more money.
because thing is, right? What Spurs need, I think, if Spurs buy a few more people, right, they are closer to competing than us, right? Because they
Well,
at least have some kind of structure in place. At least that team plays for him, right? Whereas with us, he
Spurs,
will have
Spurs
he will
not
have to learn
Spurs
a
not
whole
good
new
enough to
way.
win anything. Spurs
Good
plays
enough.
football the way Manchester United plays football when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer first came. Spurs
Mm,
strictly play counter-attacking football, and they're not as good as it as Atletico Madrid is. Their
no.
defense is not as good and not as disciplined as Atletico Madrid play. There's the
Mm,
same structure of football, right?
mm,
Try to shut down the next team in the midfield and get Kane and Son and whoever else will wind just running up at people. And
right.
that is okay. But
Okay.
Spurs is a very one-dimensional team.
So,
Now, it may be a lack of talent. Maybe if they
mm,
spend more money, um, the coach might be able to do something different. Maybe he's just using what he has. But Spurs, no, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. That if Spurs get some quality, they can't be top 4. What I'm
mm,
saying is, you can't be beating City one week
yeah,
and then losing to
and then
Burnley.
yep.
What was our problem? We were beating City, but we couldn't
Hmm.
deal with low block teams.
No.
And that is what I'm saying. The way Spurs
Mm,
play football, they
it's
will always have a chance against a big team.
yeah.
But you see, you need to be able to get points against the bottom teams and against the middle of the road teams to win in the Premier League. We all know that. The reason
Mm,
why City and Liverpool have been so consistent is because not only they will pull it out against Arsenal, but they would pull it out against Burnley. They will pull
mm,
it out against Watford. They'll pull it
yep.
out against Crystal Palace. You
Yep.
understand? Where we
Mm,
will flounder,
mm,
right? Brighton would give us trouble, right?
mm,
Spurs is strictly a counter-attacking team right now.
yeah.
So their
Yeah,
football
but
really and truly not that great.
for us to have Hurricane, we have to spend so much more behind him. We have to then get that CDM. We have to get a man to replace
Bro, whether
Harry
we get
Maguire.
Harry or not, we have to we have
But
to
what
get
I'm
all the
saying,
things.
but
We
what I'm
have
saying,
to.
if we buy Harry Kane, we are not buying anybody else. Just
All
like
right.
last year.
So
Last year we bought
so the
Sancho.
rumors of Harry Kane and Declan Rice are rubbish in your mind. Is Harry Kane or
No, no,
Declan
no.
Rice?
I believe so. Actually, no. It is Hurricane or Hurricane. There's no rights. We are not buying a center midfielder. We are not buying it. We will give
You believe that Manchester United will not go into the
Matic a new contract.
moving along, Robert.
No,
You
but no,
trying to
but no, but you
impress people
laugh.
this hour
No,
in
you
the
laugh.
day.
But do you know why you laugh? Because you know it's true.
I let me tell you
I'm just
something.
saying.
We heading into the top Shotta and Booboo of the week, and so you
Mhm.
all could start to people in the comments. You all could start to put your top Shotta and Booboo of the week in the comments. We're gonna read them out. I think, and probably we need a whole program to have this discussion. So we're not gonna have it now, right? But I think that Manchester United is actually perched, is on the precipice of doing two things. Two things could happen in the summer. We could fly. Now I know a lot of people don't see an option of us flying. It don't matter who the manager is, whether Ten Hag, whether
Mhm.
Poch, we could put Sir Alex in a time machine and take him back. I think a lot of people don't have high expectations. I actually do think it's possible for Manchester United to compete for silverware next season and compete for the league. We could fly or we could continue to sing. We could sing further, right? And I'm just gonna say it real quick. The demolition of Manchester United Football Club did not come with the with purchase of the club by the Glazers, right? Yes, it was a slow decline, but the demolition of the club did not come with the put. We won a Champions League with the Glazers in charge. We won leagues with the Glazers here. The demolition of Manchester United came when the Glazers full-heartedly believed that Ed Woodward could run a football club. The Glazers are not hands-on owners. We like to blame the Glazers for a lot, and the one thing that they are responsible for is that they have never spent any of their own money, right? And that is a fact. But the demolition of Manchester United is because of Ed Woodward. He came in, he empowered the players, talking to players, asking them their opinion on managers and this and that and all kind of dotishness. He did not hire football people to make football decisions and keep himself quiet in and make commercial decisions. Commercially, Ed Woodward ran a wonderful ship. Manchester United's value has more than doubled. Manchester United's revenue has more than doubled, actually more than tripled since the Glazers came in, and even since Ed has taken over. All of that is good, but he knew nothing about football. People that talk about Manchester United need to get scouts. That's not true. Manchester United have scouts. But when a scout bring 5 names on a list, and the only name that Ed and Matt Judge know, because they are not football people, is the first one or the second one, but everybody else who may be very good, competent, hungry footballers, nobody know the name, and they're like, nah, 30 million for he? Well, who is he? Well, he is, nah. How much for the Maria? Yeah, let get the Maria. I know who he is. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, the demolition of Manchester United came with the way Ed Woodward was running the club.
Mhm.
And that was it. Now, the Glazers now, with Ed going and Arnold taking over, Richard Arnold has said, I don't know about football. I'm a businessman. Right? Now, Richard Arnold is, unlike Edward Wood, is actually a Manchester United fan. He loves the club. He supports the club. He wants to stay in his corner, and he have no problem. At least this is what he has said so far. This is why we could either fly in the summer or sink, right? If he stays true to his word and he stays on the commercial side and he allows Murta and he allows Ralph and these guys to do the footballing stuff, we could soar because we could actually see an overhaul, and not an expensive overhaul, not the Declan Rice and Harry Kane overhaul, but other players who are going to cost 30, 40, 50 million instead of 100 million and 100 million, 120 million. We may actually see that. And then with a new manager in place as well, this club may just position itself to do something spectacular and at least start moving up instead of this craziness that we're doing. Hitting second seems to be our ceiling, right? Since Alex left, the most Manchester could do is reach finals and lose, and reach second. And I think it all depends on what happens, because the Glazers are not hand-on owners. We like to blame Glazers and we like to say, oh, the Glazers. No. The Glazers don't run Manchester United. And most of the decisions over the years were not Glazers' decisions. It was Ed Woodward and the board. And even though most of the Glazers on the board, they still rely on what Ed Woodward was telling them to make a decision. Ed Woodward literally got almost anything he tell them, they was like, okay, Ed. That's the reality of who was running Manchester United. And if that changes, if we get a structure where football people run Manchester United's football side, and if Richard Arnold is true to his word that he's going to allow the football people to do what they do, if he is true to his word that it's time for Manchester United to get back into winning trophies and not just being a legacy club and about just making money, if he's saying all the right things, right? Time alone, I giving him the benefit of the doubt because time alone will show.
He
louder than words.
He remind me of Faris.
No. You're gonna cut your short right there. So we go into the top Shotta and Booboo of the week. So for those who don't know, the top Shotta is the guy who is having a really great week. He's doing well. He's performing on or off the field. It could be a player. It could be a team. It could be anything, preferably football related, but it don't have to be. And the Booboo of the week is somebody who's having a horrible week. You know what I mean? You walk outside, bull just on your head. It's like nothing you do is right. Everything you're doing is wrong. So talk to me, Robert. Who is your top Shotta and Booboo of the week?
My top Shotta, I have two. One is Diego Simeone. This man is Lord Voldemort. He is the master of the dark arts. This man came to our club and waved his wand, and that spell that he put on his team, I don't understand. This man was doing things in front of the referee, and the referee couldn't see it. This man is the master of the dark arts.
You saw their players warming up and intentionally going by Manchester United players when they're looking to do trains. I haven't seen that. I like what's going on here.
These men, right, have been trained. These are Death Eaters. These guys have been trained in the art. I think we need to hire some of those guys to come by us and teach us some things. You understand? So to me, my top Shotta one is Diego Simeone. My second top Shotta is Harry Maguire. I'll tell you why. Harry Maguire has been such garbage, but this man still get called up for England. That to me is
Harry Maguire is one of the first names on the team sheet, boy.
First names. This man is a top Shotta.
Southgate have a few names that top of the team sheet.
Yeah. Top Shotta.
Pickford.
top
Harry
shutter,
Maguire. It don't matter how
right?
they perform.
Top shutter. And my boo boo is my club, Manchester United. The club, the team, Harry, Ronaldo, Sancho, Bruno, Rashford, everybody, boo boo, everybody, the whole team. How could you go from beating Spurs to lose in this game? I don't understand, right? How could you go from here to there? My that whole team, and I can't totally blame Ralph totally, but the whole team are boo boos. That whole entire team are boo boos.
Fair enough. As
Yeah,
far as your top shutter, Maguire, Carlton agrees with you. He says Maguire is a top shutter. He is a good false five.
that's right.
He's excellent at not being a proper five, but a false five.
That's right.
Barbados MUFC says top shutter of the week is a Aubameyang. Aubameyang handling stuff. I didn't check the scores, but I could only assume that he took Barcelona through to Europe in the Europa tie today.
Oh yeah, they on
Pay
Thursday. I
attention.
forget.
Yeah, I didn't pay
Oh
attention to
shucks.
Barcelona's game. Mark Lewis is saying Boo Boo is Maguire
Yeah.
for the head, but he put on Ronaldo. He didn't score our own goal, but he put Ronaldo to prevent him from scoring a
Yep.
goal. It happens, it
Yep.
happens. And Barbados MUFC is saying Southgate is a top sheep. I hear that. So my Boo Boo of the week, I had to say my Boo Boo of the week is Manchester United and Marcus Rashford. And the reason I picked Marcus Rashford is because that situation with Marcus Rashford just highlights the team.
Mhm.
You know, psychologically, Marcus is admitting that he's not in a good place. When
Mhm.
people start to talk about, oh, well, you know, I break down because, you know, I'm only human. No. You break down because you're weak. You had a
Mhm.
moment of weakness. You
Mhm.
know what it is to be criticized. You know what it is, but it getting under your skin. And he had a moment of weakness. And even though he didn't admit that, even though he didn't say that, even though he tried to make it seem like, you know, and to me that is reflective of what is going on at Manchester United right now. We're not consistent and we're showing weakness. Atletico Madrid was able to come and get into people's heads, fall along on the ground every time after they scored a goal, and you know,
Mhm.
players. We were arguing with the ref and arguing with players instead of just waiting to get on with the game. We
Yep.
were helping them. We were falling into their trap.
Yep.
So the club showed weakness, Marcus
Mhm.
showed weakness, and that is it. And I think the same reason that Marcus did it is the same issue with our club. Ever since before the departure of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, this club has been inconsistent. They could give you a great performance one game and total crap the next game. Sometimes you wonder if they even playing. You know,
Mhm.
again, the Manchester Derby was like, what going on here? These guys won this. These guys, you know, sometimes they don't even show up to play.
No.
So there is obvious mental weakness at Manchester United, and therefore Manchester United and Marcus Rashford don't get my sympathy this week. They get my criticism. So I consider them boo boos. For the week, Carlton is saying his boo boo is Ralph. My top shutter for this week has to be Thomas Tuchel. Um, Chelsea was already on top, but when you hear a manager and so they qualified, they won the game and they qualified, right? But when you hear managers make statements like, you know, if I had a turn to be the bus driver, and
Yeah.
you know, I'm gonna take my team there. That is the kind of heart, that is the kind of gusto you want from a manager. So it's not even because of Chelsea qualifying. right? It is not because of anything on the field. The club is going through a tough time, right? People saying all kind of things about Chelsea Football Club, and rightly so. Right? The owner has been a guy dealing in shady deals for a while. But when you have a manager that could really put his foot down and make positive statements and keep the team together and keep the guys performing in spite of, I mean, we from the Caribbean, we know when the West Indies cricket board having issues, you just see it on the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
understand? If it have bacchanal with the team before a tournament, licks.
Yeah.
If it have bacchanal before a tour, licks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not just West Indies. There are a lot of places in the world when stuff is going on behind the scenes. What you see it on the field. The players are affected by what is going on in administration. When you watch Chelsea Football Club play, clearly they're not studying why they still had the tree on the shirt, why the sponsor pulling out. They don't play like, you know, the owner under sanction. They don't play like that. They keep playing, they're keeping their standards up, and the manager is responsible for that. So I had to say hats off to Thomas Tuchel for doing that, because that's not an easy job. When the world seems to be crumbling around you, to keep guys, performing, that is not an easy job. Barbados MUFC is saying West Indies cricket team ain't no good. Could you imagine being a United fan and a West Indies supporter as well?
Hmm.
Yeah, plenty heartache. Pain. Pain is the other day. So people, we went really overtime. Is an hour and a half we've been talking to you guys. So, it's definitely time you fed up see Robert and my face, and probably my face a little more than Robert's. So we are looking to shut it down. Um, we have, remember, every show between now and next week Thursday. Next week Thursday, we're gonna have the big draw. So we're gonna have the announcement on the next United Hour on Thursday. But look out for some new and interesting content over the weekend and into next week. It is going to be a week and a half. Actually, the next Manchester United game is in April. It's going to be 2 weeks that we're not going to have any football, Manchester United wise, but we're always going to have content and it's always going to have Manchester United news. So keep it locked to the United Hour and, subscribe, like, do the necessary. Remember, Red Devils, we don't die, we multiply. Good night, everybody.
Hey, if you appreciate what we're doing here at the United Hour, please like, please subscribe, and let's grow this community.